on this computer. Is it recording? Yes. Okay, so welcome to this month sort of meetup on Cloud Nordics. We're not that many people today, and we have a fairly short agenda, I can see. Hopefully more people will be joining. I see Oliver just joined. That's awesome. Just a general update since last time. We sort of did a lot of work to finish the website before our KubeCon presentation, and I think the current state is actually becoming really good. Jeppe did an amazing job on actually, finalizing all of the details pages and all of that. So now we really have a good website. The only thing missing is maybe sort of a reminder that we have been putting out a couple of times. Please remember to get all the details into Meetup in the Meetup's repo, because we use all of that data to display companies, speakers, and all that. Especially the GitHub handle of the speaker, because we use that for fetching the image right now to display the image of the speaker in the speaker's page. I think that's sort of the general update on the website. If you haven't looked at it, please take a look. It's live. We switched it to the primary and the default site, so we are using the page right now. So everybody coming in is going through this new website, so that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it about the website. Anything? Any comments? Anything? No? Awesome. Let's continue to the road shows. So I've been trying to set up a couple of road shows. I'm doing one myself, just here in Denmark, going to Copenhagen and Aalborg next week, and will be in Aarhus the week after. The more formal tour is we are trying to set something up with Nick Jones and Hans Christian for a tour around 2 cities in Denmark and 2 cities in Norway. I think everything is almost in place. Still need some confirmation from Copenhagen about the venue, but other than that, I think it's pretty much settled and in place. Then we have another tour in January with Iho. I'm not totally sure of the current status of that. I see Oliver's here. Maybe he can add something to this of the current state, because I'm hoping that some guys in Finland will will be planning the last sort of the last details of this tour. Oliver, do you have something to add?
Yes, I have been in contact with Ranger and with some guy from Aqua Security, and they would be, in principle, they would like to join, but they need to know the dates when and where it is exactly happening. And of course, it would be good for them that there is some local companies.
Oh, what happened? You're still there, Oliver?
I think it froze.
Yeah.
I can give a brief update on my side. So I have to have the final dates on. The question with me is that I should have a personal appointment in Tampere, but I don't know exactly when. So it should happen that week that we've agreed, but I don't know exactly the date. So it should be on Wednesday, on Friday, and so once I'll have the final confirmation, so I'll work with Oliver on the final dates of that one. But it should be I should have the final decision by the end of this week, so by Friday, or at least by next Monday.
Okay, that's awesome. So hopefully we will get the last details in, and we can make all the arrangements for the second speaker, because that would be a lot easier to find the second speaker when we know where and how everything should be set up.
Yep. Right.
Cool. If Oliver, if you're still here, I think maybe Jussi also was interested in joining a tour, but I'm not sure if you have asked him. Or if
Yes.
you're here. Oh, you're here. Awesome.
Yes, I'm back. Yes, Jussi is actually interested in joining a tour, but he has to. Gets it paid by his company if, of course, he can talk a bit what they are doing at Container, and if that is fine for the meetups. So then he can join, I think, a tour. I don't know which one, but we could set one up.
Yeah. Well, I talked to him at KubeCon, and I think it's fine. They have a pretty cool open source product with the macOS app that they demoed at KubeCon, which looks pretty cool. And I think there's some interesting stuff in that. And of course, he needs to promote a little bit, but if we can keep it at sort of a low point, it would be great. But I think they have a lot to talk about still, even though they don't have to, promote the company as much as they probably would like to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. If we keep it civil, right, and they know what civil means, fine, right?
I think it's useful for them to give them a time frame. We allow you of 10 minutes of talking about whatever your company or something like that, because if you have that agreement beforehand, then it makes it so much easier when it happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, for our meetups, we've said 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, we do the same.
Yeah, so yeah, you can tell him that, Oliver, and hopefully he can join this tour, because we need to find a second speaker rather quickly, because there's now only 1.5 months till this tour starts. So we need to finalize on the details.
Yes, I will talk actually today with him. So we have a meetup in Tampere, and we will meet today.
Awesome. I see, Lucas, you are adding stuff on the road shows.
So I basically didn't attend any sessions, but I just, as KubeCon, I just moved around and talked to people about joining roadshows. But the problem is that I didn't keep track of them. So I'm trying to think on the top of my head, who did I talk to? And I mean, obviously, most of the people I talked to was like, oh, that would be cool. Like, I want to do it, but I don't know if I have the time, if I can actually practically do it, especially when they come to meet us. So, but it's like, the interest is probably there, like if there would be an unlimited amount of time. So I'll try to just write some names that with people I talk to, and yeah. But I think, I don't know if I have anyone.
But we have KubeCon in end of March, so it might be easier to get some of these people that you're writing right now.
Yeah.
Either before or after.
That was basically for the overseas people. That was what I said.
I think I spoke with Chris Noah about a tour to the Nordics, and she said it was fine if it was like, as we do it right now, with 4 days and 4 meetups, and then of course planning a couple of months in advance, because she has a very busy schedule. But it sounded like a thing that was doable. And of course, if we can combine it with some events here in Europe, that would be a lot easier to convince them to maybe stay for an extra week or something like that. Awesome. You're just writing down, Lucas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think KubeCon, Cloud NativeCon, the update is our talk is online. You can find it on YouTube if you want to check it out. Lucas is again writing something. You want to add something? He's not. Okay. So yeah, so the talk is online. Not many people actually attended the session, but you can't see that on the video, which is good. But we got to talk a bit about our setup here, and it's nice to have that recording. We can probably use it on the website at some point as sort of a stamp of approval again from that we've been talking about this. We've been doing stuff. We have been KubeCon speakers about this as well. So it's a nice thing we can use for branding the Cloud Native Nordics. Anyway, so yes, I think that was it from my side.
It's the deadline for the Europe today. Have you planned to send something in for the Amsterdam?
Oh, come again. There was a lot of noise.
Have you considered sending something similar in for the European one, like about what you do for the community, or?
No, I haven't.
That's for you.
There's still time.
I'm already registered on one talk, so I can only have one more. So.
Oh, too bad.
Someone else can step up and put something in.
No, it would be nice, but I promised myself to take a break for Amsterdam and not do a talk, because it was a fair amount of work before this time. So yeah. But if you would like to, I mean, if any of you would like to put something together, I can preview it during today before the deadline in a couple of hours.
Yes.
I think I'm fine, but we could potentially do like a community leader panel or something. That would be it doesn't have to be that complex, I guess. More about like how to organize meetups, how to set up meetups, polling speakers, etc. What we do to keep the community alive and align in the cities, etc. That's something we could send in if someone is willing. I would be willing to participate, but I don't have much time today. I have half an hour after this meeting.
That actually sounds like a pretty good idea. There's something similar going on with the end user community around just setting something up with end users to discuss. So that's probably why you got the idea.
yeah, I'm not going to claim this was my original idea. I totally stole it from someone else.
But it's a really good idea.
So actually, we've had such a panel in KubeCon North America 18. So I don't know if it actually would be like more similar thing, like not exactly but similar thing. So cool, I don't know if they
I didn't know that because I didn't go. But
yeah. But when thinking about it, it's actually a pretty. I mean, why can't it be a like general thing for every KubeCon? I could ask like. I don't know if Ihor has any thoughts, but basically in the same way as we have scheduled every KubeCon like SIG cluster lifecycle update and whatever, like why don't we have a CNCF ambassadors update on every KubeCon? That is actually, I think, thanks to your suggestion now that, yeah, I don't know.
We have the maintainer track, so if you are speaking, for example, about comparing that with the SIG cluster lifecycle updates, they are separate from the main track. So we'll have the maintainers track, and the window will be opened at the beginning of January. So if you want, we may consider also doing the ambassador stuff and so on. So it's up to program committee if they want to include that. But feel free to send out an email or propose that in the ambassador channel to include it to the maintainer track.
Yeah, because I think that's equally important or equally like much a maintainer thing, but it's just like not code level. So
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Just propose it.
Yeah.
So since I'm not an ambassador, I don't have these channels. Could you drive it, Lucas?
I could get in touch with CNCF and do like research it, but again, as I promised myself, I won't do the moderating or talk. But I mean there shouldn't be only like, yeah, we can just whoever is suitable for actually speaking there or whatever like can get invited. But as long as we have one ambassador as moderator or whatever, I think it would be fine.
if you get the question going, we can divide the work once we know if it's a possibility or not.
Yeah.
And we can make sure that it doesn't end up on you. But that's only if you make the conversation and delegate.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Should we move on to the next topic? Jessica, would you mind giving us an update on the Kubernetes Community Day?
Sure. So we have started with our weekly meetings. We seem to be somewhat of a core group of people interested that joins. And we also have a set of people from Stockholm that are some more dedicated, some less dedicated, to start driving this non-profit organization that we need in order for keeping the booking and the bank account for the event. So currently we are in such a state that we have half promises from 6 companies of the bigger scale about sponsoring. They just want to know what sponsoring tiers we're going to get. And we have an initial numbers from a conference location, what it would cost to do a 2-day event with somewhere around 200 people. We have a rough budget listed. They are currently in the process of setting up the nonprofit organization. And as soon as that is done, we can continue on with starting to make bookings and contracts, because we can't make a deal with the conference center unless we have the organization and a bank account for it. And we can't set up the sponsoring tiers before we know what it will cost for the conference location, etc. So we are kind of like in a place where a few things need to fall in place before we can continue on. But it feels like in just a couple of weeks, we made a huge progress on getting something up. And it looks like it will happen in sometime in September, probably second half of September, as it looks right now. Any questions regarding the conference?
I only have maybe an addition that it is companies like Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, very big companies that can actually throw money as if they want to, if the deal is good enough, right? So it seems very plausible to do this.
Yes, we feel confident that we will be able to pull in money to make it happen.
Cool.
Because it's expensive to have a location and food.
Exactly. Sorry, just a small addition. We plan to open the official PR this week to let everybody know that we are setting something up in the Nordics within the CNCF as well.
Yeah, and I think we have representatives from all the Nordic countries except Iceland that are part of the planning group for the conference, which is really cool.
Nice. Should we ping some Icelandic folks just to see if they're
for money?
Well, I don't know, but at least
part
from
of
the
it,
organizer's perspective.
So part of it is that we want to keep it a local community.
Yeah.
So we are not looking into pulling in speakers, even though high-profile speakers would be cool. I think part of the plan with the community days is to make them local, which means like bring forth people, local people, and not only the same 20 names everywhere. So I'm slightly hesitant about calling across the Atlantic.
Yes, but I mean, like, so we still keep it as a Nordic, all Nordic.
Yes.
People are so to say invited officially, so that yeah.
We can try to reach out and see if anyone is interested in joining the organizer group. Everything is open in the conference channel, so people can just join if they're interested in helping out in some way form.
Yeah, I was thinking about Skeggy, for example, if he'd be interested. Maybe they missed it or something. This thing once again. I now added the link to the talk that we did, the panel that we did in 2018. If you're interested.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Thank you.
There was something I would ask about the conference thing. Now I think I forgot. Sorry. Anyways,
Just
I might just ask
return
again.
if he comes back.
Cool.
I think you're up next, Lucas. Meetup kit or streaming or whatever you sort of prefer to go with first.
Yes. Let's start with Meetup kit. So yeah, so basically what I did at KubeCon was just talk to people about Cloud Native Nordics essentially, and get a lot of feedback actually, and it was really nice. I got some really good tips from Stefan Skimansky and Ariel. Ariel is I don't know remember his last name, but Ariel worked for StackPoint Cloud at the time. They were still a company on their own, and they made the first San Francisco and New York and Seattle meetup groups and that kind of stuff. So really before which predates CNCF even. So he had a lot of good ideas about how to run communities and do this kind of thing. So I will catch up with him in a week or so, and I can invite others too if it fits your schedule to just like very casually talk about how to make things better and make things flow. And as part of this, and as part of our talk, I uploaded the Meetup Kit repo, which only has one commit now. I realized after doing this that I should have, because it uses the code from both the Stats API and the not old, but the existing Meetups repo in the generator folder. So I realized I should have copied these with Git history to attribute, for example, Yep and a lot of the other committers earlier to this. So I will probably force push over this to include all the existing commits from the copied. Anyways, it's just like put together all the stuff, all the tools we have. I mean, eventually we'll include the background generator here and all such things. And then I also got in contact with, let's see if it's, so Indonesian, the people who organize meetups in Indonesia, they have forked our repository in more or less, and there we go. I pasted in the meeting notes now, and have a similar but not exactly the same thing. Some gems there are, let's see, for example, the recording event already had a live streaming thing, like guide. They basically they started from our thing and then added what we didn't have to there. Also, we had getting some pre-made messages in the same way as we have.
We should ask them if they can just do an export on their scenes and upload them as well from OBS.
Yes. By the way, that was also gonna ask Oliver. You had created some scenes.
Oh, Oliver, can you export your scenes from OBS and share them with me?
Yes,
I can do that. Yes.
Preferably before 4 o'clock today, so I might, just steal them.
I will try my best. Yes.
Thank you.
And Oliver, sorry, one thing totally random. I just saw when leaving from home that I have the micro HDMI to HDMI thing, so it might the cable, so you might have to go buy that now. Sorry.
Well, I will solve it out. I will see you soon.
Yeah. But anyways, this Indonesia thing was really exciting to see that they had started started with this, and they even they also had a checklist, which I will link to here. A checklist which I hope we will create ourselves soonish too. Their issue template, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So for example, with this issue template, I was thinking if there would be interest in starting to have one issue per meetup, so that we create Tampere meetup January, and then have an issue and then put all the things there. In the same way as they have. I thought about it before, but I've never just got to it. Is it like, would that be plausible from others' perspective?
I'm not sure I would use it, to be honest, because I run a similar list in my head.
Yes, me too. But that
I'm
was
I'm not against it. I'm just saying I'm probably going to be too lazy to create an issue and follow it.
Right.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But it would probably be nice to have something just to look at for new people joining.
I mean, if we can fork this one, I say fork, not steal, we can and just do some adoption to make it ours, so it doesn't require that much effort. I think we can totally do it. But I'm not sure we should invest too much effort creating something that we're not sure we would use ourselves.
Right. Yeah, so basically the idea of MeetupKit is that now the code that is here doesn't have anything to do with us. It just happens to live under our GitHub organization at the moment. Eventually, hopefully, I will talk to CNCF about this, and Ihor, Chris already knows, but we'll take it probably on the next year side. We can see if we can like just move move organizations of this thing when it's ready. So that, for example, Archie in Canada, we're really interested about like just taking this, running it, like download one Go binary, run generate or run init, and get presented with some questions. Where is your meetup group and blah, and then boom, have everything there. It requires some very intrusive code changes in the in the code base, because it's not at all written in that way at the moment, but but it will simplify the developer experience a lot. And as you noted, Jessica, for example, at the moment the stats API doesn't. We should make it fail in like once in an hour, and Kubernetes will restart it or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Add a kubectl, add a kube job that just kills the pod every hour or something. Or just add, I don't know, preloader something.
Yeah. So the idea is that when I or someone else have time, we would just like go in and then actually change this. There's not a lot that needs to be changed. It's just like, because we create the in-memory database, and the only thing we would do is have a Go routine which regenerates that database and gives it as an event to the serving thread. But yeah, eventually we'll get there. But that's the idea with MeetupKit. We have a lot of users that would like it for their communities that I found at KubeCon. So the demand is there. Also for Workshop CTL. Eventually, Workshop CTL is in a fairly good state, but I mean there's 12 open issues, and it's not anything that others can use at the moment before like at least 2 of these 10 issues are resolved. I actually documented them fairly well, so people should be able to pick them up if they have time. I'm not saying you, but like in general. And yeah, that's also a candidate for I don't know, going forward.
Have you tracked this in issues and stuff, so it's easy for people to know what to pick up?
Yes.
Perfect.
yes, there's 12 issues open there, and right now it's just like it has a couple of assumptions. Like the installation story is not good, right? So like you need to have a certain binaries on your host and that kind of stuff. You need to. It has some assumptions about running in a certain Git repos and stuff, which I will fix when I get to it. But at the moment, I just have to finish all the deadlines in school first. And then it's probably Christmas. Yeah. So yeah, any other questions about like just generally building the communities with these things?
I maybe have a question just to hear if you have thought more about the sort of the meetups approach to reverse the flow a bit of creating stuff on Meetup with just adding the YAML and then some controller stuff would actually create the event on meetup.com and we don't have to sort of sync it back.
So I want to do that, but that's far more complex than what we have now. One of the problems that I realized is before we can do that, like one practical example, how do we validate the address? Or like we would need some Google Maps API thing, so that like how can we make sure that the field that we put as, for example, address actually lands on a longitude and latitude that Meetup API understands, and how do we like put in the date and time in a way that's sane, so you don't have to specific YAML parse date strings, and those kinds of like how to get Meetup understand, or how do and another thing is like how do we deal with the pictures. Was maybe Git LFS, but we haven't had that good experiences with that. It's still like the PDFs we have in Meetups are still just forked in some way. So like what is, I mean, if you have a better idea of what the exact flow would be, because like how do we know what picture to use? How do we upload that to Meetup? Like, do we check it in? And yeah, one other thing that I will link from this Indonesia is that they also had a similar artwork repository. Yeah, so their README says this repository contains artwork created by Atala Rizky and is used by the Cloud Native Indonesia community, inspired by Cloud Native Nordics work, and tools heavily borrowed from them. And if we check the poster, they forked our generator, but made it better too, which is really nice to see. So that it actually generates the, how to say it, like, let me check. They have in their index HTML, they actually have the links. So for example, like all the dates, like where is this and when, like a bit.ly link to something, and all the speakers. They have custom CSS for this, all the speakers, their photos, and other things. So they actually, they don't just have the, so our Meetup generator, our background generator could evolve to be like input the sponsor picture here as a list, and input the speaker, or it already has the sponsors and speakers and all that kind of stuff. So it would source the data that we already have, and just boom, output into Git a file of this, and then we could use it for Meetups, so that they so
Connection is really bad.
Lucas, we lost you.
Yeah, it's the university Wi-Fi again, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like. Lucas, are you here? No, he's gone. But yeah, it's actually pretty awesome what they did in Indonesia, and it would be awesome to actually, instead of having the templates that we have right now, It would be nice to just get them generated by the data that we already have, as Lucas mentioned, instead of us having to find pictures and put them in the Google drawing thing and all of that, to make everything easier.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
And he's back. Awesome.
It's a university Wi-Fi. I don't know what it's about. Yeah, but just if people have time, wanna like.
And he disappeared again.
It in Meetup Kit. Yes, feel free to to have different profiles where there's different index HTML used based on what we want to do. All the things are there already. Yeah. I don't know. Any other questions about the tools that are in the making?
Nope. Thank you.
Cool. And huge thanks to, I don't think Jeppe is here at the moment, but still for doing the awesome work with the website. For the in time for KubeCon, it looks really amazing. Other things. Streaming. Oliver, what should we say about this? You're muted. Sorry.
Yeah, just doing some other stuff.
Oh.
So yeah, sending actually to Jessica the pictures and the scenes. So yes, streaming. Well, I think the last Helsinki meetup was the first time we didn't have pitfalls. So now we are kind of semi-professionals, I think, in doing this. And today there will be the next one. So let's see if everything works out. But yeah, well, I think we have now a set that works quite fine. And we know what traps you can fall in. So hopefully this goes now. I don't know how we can distribute this this knowledge now. Latest in I guess in Amsterdam, I could show it to the people that are interested. Now I will distribute it to Turku. So I will go next week to Turku and will actually tell the guys how to set this up. And yeah, let's see how that goes.
Actually, I might also have an option to whatever you are doing, because I bought today this one, which should be all that you need in case you already have a webcam and a microphone. What it is that it's a game capture device. So it's like for streamers that play video games and stream it.
Funnily enough, I was typing in the Google Doc that we upgraded to an Elgato HD60.
You did?
Oh
yes. My god, I bought one today. Because it has what it has is like an HDMI in and then an HDMI out. And then you get like a USB stream, USB 3.0 that you can pull into your computer. And you can add that as a video source in your OBS with like another software. And I tried it before with just our dashboard's TV screen, and I managed to capture it just fine. So my hope is to be able to use my previous webcam setup on a tripod, my Blue Yeti microphone for capturing speakers, unless they walk too much, and use this one to pull the video stream into my laptop. And we're having like a lot of local demos, like local Kubernetes meetup tonight is the theme. So everyone will have something local on the setup running Kubernetes. So I hope to be able to capture this and do a live stream. But I haven't announced a live stream because, as you said, like even if you have the tools, you might end up in a pitfall. So we'll see what happens. But I'm having high hopes.
Yeah, awesome. Go for it. It feels a bit bad if you fail, but you just need 2 or 3 times, then it will go. And actually, this Elgato device, what you bought now, this is actually very good. So I had very.
Would you say it's better than the previous Switch that you bought?
Yes, definitely.
Nice.
We had.
I did the right decision then.
Yes, It's very good. And the microphone, I don't know what kind of microphone you are using, but we are using this.
We have the podcast microphone that a lot of streamers and podcasters use. It's like a Blue Yeti, one of the really big ones. It looks like a big black tube. I choose tube as my choice of words.
Yeah, the one that we have, it costs about 80 euros. So it's a wireless microphone. So I can really recommend that as well. Is
that the one Lucas has sent me before, Röde?
Yes, the VM4.
No, the Boya VM4.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good.
So I added to
is that a bug as well, or is it like a head?
Yeah, the speaker HDMI into the Elgato and then out to the screen that you said. Then we capture to USB to one of the laptops. Last time we used, I brought a large desktop, what to say, like hub, like these Dell, that you just connect your laptop and then everything, all the connections are there. So that actually worked for the first time because before we put into Oliver's this small same thing hub, but small without external power and that kind of stuff. And it kind of did a meltdown during the stream because I don't know, the bus got flooded or something. I don't know.
Power over Ethernet is not.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So one of the pitfalls is use a really good, if you don't have enough USB-C things, if you have such a computer, then just use a desktop hub for everything, and USB 3 it needs to be. Okay, so we use the Elgato. We get the speakers. No, sorry. Now
Elgato, and then you have the
yes. We have the we have the Blackstone stream for the HDMI stream. Sorry, because the Blackstone stream is not that good, but we started with 2 of those. We switched one of them, so now we're using only the Blackstone stream for the HDMI because it's good enough for that, because it's just a simple HDMI or simple HD picture which doesn't change too often, right? So it's because it slides, so it's like we didn't need super 4K quality for that. And then we switched to Elgato for the video stream from the camera, because that was really shitty in the first time. We literally couldn't make it any larger than I don't know, 5% of the screen, because it was so blurry of the speaker. So the Blackstone didn't at all work for camera. But then we have a Sony Handycam, which feeds to the Elgato into the computer, and the wireless Boya mic goes into the Sony Handycam, so the audio and the video is synchronized. So that's basically it. Mic to camera to Elgato to computer, and on the other side, HDMI stream in and out to the Blackstone stream, and then USB into the computer. So it's not actually, at the end of the day, it's not that complicated, but there, yeah, it took a couple of times to still get there. If you want to do it tonight, then do a pre-scheduled in YouTube UI, pre-scheduled.
Yeah, that's
thing.
what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you invited me again, right, to the
yes.
admin. I still haven't seen that email, so maybe I'm filtering out somewhere, or you sent it to the wrong one. I will take a look.
Okay, yeah, just ping me if you don't have admin access already.
I'll ping you.
And yeah, this.
Will you be? Sorry, will you be writing all this down in a live stream getting started? Something with a nice picture of your setup.
Oliver, I could maybe help write something in the time frame of 1-2 weeks. If Oliver, you take a picture of the tonight.
Yeah, and we can just start together like at Google Docs and just
Yeah.
write there together some stuff. So
that would be awesome, because we want to do some stuff as well, but we have no idea how to get started. So just to have sort of the ingredients list, so to speak, what we should buy, and then the software we need to get familiar with, and roughly how it all connects would be nice.
Look at the check now. I don't think I have access. Regarding the setup and stuff, I think we could do for next meeting should be early January, right?
Yes.
Not the January 1st, right? We're going to do it the week after, or?
Yes, definitely.
I was checking. I mean, I could do, when I try this out, I can show what I have, which is a fairly basic setup with things that you probably can find in your local office. Maybe.
Cool.
And we can start with that.
Yeah. I mean, the most expensive, these things are maybe 1,100 maybe, or something like that combined, or 1,002. But the most important, the most costly thing is the Sony Handycam. But that's basically I bought, and Oliver has some pretty. Is it like a Canon normal? It's more like photographing camera, but it also worked.
yes, it worked also with that, and the GoPro cam I have also used, but it's better to have a proper cam.
Yeah.
And we have the Logitech webcams.
Yeah.
And I just pull that USB feed, and honestly, it works fine as long as you only connect one webcam. When you connect two, it can't keep up.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw the Indonesia guys wrote on Twitter that they were just using their phones. Have any of you tried just using a phone to do the image capture? Or?
Nope.
I would avoid doing that from the quality standpoint. It's convenient, but quality is not so good as it could be with the dedicated camera.
Yeah, I think we will, at least here in Aarhus, we will try to go out and find a sponsor that will help us and help us buy the stuff, and they will get their logo on the stream or something like that. Should be fairly easy to find someone that are willing to pay like €1,000 or something like that in total.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's almost less than sponsoring a meetup itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we haven't, and partly why we didn't use the phone is that we want to be able to like mix it with the HDMI stream, and that we only can do. And again, the Sony Handycam is a bit like more expensive than needed, really. But it's like, if you want it, it's probably the cheapest 4K way you can get, and also combined with Elgato, which supports 4K. So, I mean, when it's going up to YouTube, it's still like something, whatever, small resolution.
You don't need
still.
4K. Just use something else as a starter. See if it's worth the investment. It's fine.
Yes. No, but I just meant that I bought it because I bought it for myself anyways. So I bought it just like for other purposes, which I don't know. I might have. Yeah, so I'll try to get
anything more on the streaming.
I don't think so.
Cool. You wrote unconference meetups.
Yeah, so one of the actual first real pieces of feedback we got, actually, so we've been running for 2 years, but the first like real feedback I think I got was last week. There was one person who was like, can't you just schedule a meetup without an agenda? It was like, yeah, I guess. if you want to do that, I can. I just assume that you would like to have something already like pre-scheduled, but they were like, no, we'd like to figure it out ourselves sometime too. So, and that's just, it sounds so easy, but I don't know, I never thought about it. So
we've been thinking of doing something like this as well. Just facilitating it a little bit with just an introduction and just having people come up and share their what they would like to talk about. Put it on post-it notes and then have a simple vote and then divide people into groups and maybe do something like 2 sessions of this and then that's it for 2 times 45 minutes or something like that to just discuss. But we haven't tried it yet, but it's something that I really would like to do.
I've been running a lot of unconferences in the last few years. So if anyone wants input on things to think about when doing unconference, I'm happy to help.
Cool. Yeah, we could definitely have, I mean, eventually just documentation on how we're running. We have the simple markdown files in our meetup repo. I think it's only myself that's been writing something there so far. So I would really like others to add how they're doing stuff so we can learn from each other and find some kind of, I don't know, not consensus, but like some kind of golden way of doing stuff. And that unconference would be one of them. Like, add how you would do an unconference, Jessica, and then we can iterate upon that.
Yeah, I shared a link to a blog post that one of the people from the group within Meltwater that is part of organizing this unconference that we do. He wrote on things we do and consider and how we organize our unconferences. So if you're interested, take a look. Basically describe like what's leading up to the event, what are the different parts of it, etc. This is for like a 4-day unconference, but I think a lot of it is still going to be true for an afternoon as well, or an evening.
So it would be nice to maybe have just meetup types or meetup ideas or something like that. README, because we've done some experimental meetups as well, where we had 6 different talks of 10 to 15 minutes with just asking the community to choose a CNCF project and talk about it for 10-15 minutes and show maybe the demo that's on the README or whatever. And it was actually a really nice meetup. So having sort of a meetup types document or something like that would be really nice to have as sort of a reference for setting meetups up.
Good idea. I like it. That would be useful.
Cool. And do we have more stuff? Anything else we need to discuss? I will move the next meeting to Wednesday, January 8th. I think that's the next Wednesday after. Anything else we should talk about? We have 4 minutes left.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Covered a fair amount. Jessica, if you could add some notes to the community day update, just the TLDR of what you said. It's easy for others to follow when reading.
Yes.
Cool. And so one of the action items here now, just to like sum up, is we would like to have someone else than Ihor, right, on the 2nd January roadshow, right? And I will start the discussion with the CNCF ambassadors on the KubeCon side on like having every KubeCon CNCF ambassadors something about meetups, and then myself and Ola will try to document our stuff sync with Jessica about that. And then someone or maybe Jessica can help with some unconference things if we like some guidelines there. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds pretty accurate. I can also help with the meetups type just to start the initial document, and people can create PRs to it.
Yeah, we have done 3 or 4 of the suggestions, right? So
Nice.
we have some input here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, just add yourself to the list there as action item.
Yes, and I will move the next meeting.
Cool.
In that regard, should we try to do this meeting a little shorter and then say 40 minutes and then move it to 10 minutes over? Because it seems like hitting 0-0 is pretty tough for some people. We always, 3 or 4 here, and then there's 10 in the middle of the meeting, and then for the end, people have to go somewhere else, and then they will cut it 5-10 minutes short. It's just a suggestion.
That's good, yeah.
So we could do a 10 minutes over to 10 minutes or 15 minutes over or something like that, or whatever you prefer, guys. But it just seems like it would be good that we have 5-10 minutes in the start where people can join, and then the same in.
Yes, I will update the time slots in the to something like this. Yeah, cool. I guess that's it. We are almost at 2 o'clock, so talk to you soon, I guess. See you.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.